I want to talk Oregon Ducks big visit weekend. There it is. Let's bring in Max Torres from Scoop Duck. And Max, the fireworks already got started because 2 days ago, five-star safety Jet Washington committed. Ducks moving up close to a top 5 class right now, and they got more 5-stars on campus. It's Manny Enacho visit weekend. What are you hearing coming out of this one?
Yeah, Manny Enacho is absolutely one of Oregon's top targets here in the 2026 class, and one that's becoming more and more important for this staff. You see Dan Lanning knocking out some push-ups there with the five-star tackle out of Baltimore. And the reason I think he's becoming more important, Josh, is because of where we've seen Oregon's other offensive tackle prospects land in this 2026 class. So as those guys have kind of flown off the board over the past couple months, Manny Enacho has continued to climb up Oregon's board and really been a major priority for this staff. So, I think that Oregon's in a good spot here, rather, with Manny Enacho. The big development just this morning was that they offered his younger brother, Michael Enacho, a 2028 offensive tackle out of the state of Maryland as well. So you have to wonder, maybe is Oregon kind of trying to throw that one in to maybe sweeten the deal a little bit, offer the chance for both of those brothers to play their college ball together, depending, of course, on Manny's development. He might be on that NFL track. That's what people probably think. So I think that's the main development, I guess, that we're tracking here. And also just wondering, is this a recruitment, Josh, that we could see speed up? Because he's supposed to come off the board in early August, but I know that with official visit season winding down here, a lot of teams are trying to kind of wrap some of these top recruitments up. So that's what we'll have to keep an eye on here coming out of this weekend.
Yeah, and offering his brother, that's always a move in recruiting. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. Was his brother on the visit with him?
I haven't been able to confirm that just yet, Josh, but I think it probably stands to reason that he could be out there. Most times on these official visits, prospects are joined by their entire families, coaches, agents, mentors, whatever you have it. So I haven't confirmed that one myself, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was out there as well.
Yeah, that'd kind of be a bit of a power move because they probably know they're going to offer him, but they're waiting for the moment that the family's on campus to try to kind of put an exclamation point on that. I love it. Now, speaking of being on campus, athlete Jaylen Lot, we just spoke with Justin Wells, who's covering Texas from the state of Texas, and he said, Jaylen Lot, look, he's probably leaving the state, and it looks like it's either USC or Oregon, but what are you hearing coming out of his big visit weekend?
Yeah, that was the main prospect that I've been hearing chatter about over this weekend, Josh. It really did seem like that one was an Oregon Texas battle for the longest time, and then yesterday I was getting some text from sources and was told that it was kind of pivoting to an Oregon USC battle, and he has taken that official visit out to Los Angeles to see the Trojans. And Oregon's been a school that's been heavily mentioned in this recruitment. We do know that NIL is going to be a factor in this recruitment as well, Oregon and USC have been more than competitive in that department. But I'm just curious to see, how big of a priority Lot is going to be for this staff. Is he going to be someone down the line that they say, hey, this guy is a must-have in this class? There's been a ton of talk about him as a wide receiver, but I'm also told that defensive back corner might be his best position long-term. I know that USC wants him as a receiver. Sounds like there might be a little bit of wiggle room as far as position goes for this Oregon staff with Lot. Maybe he's a guy that you just have to get on campus, and then once he's on the roster, you kind of figure out where he lands. So I think that there's still some wild cards here and some stuff to figure out with Jaylen Lot. Going to be coming off the board, it sounds like. Justin Hopkins said on the board earlier, July 8th is the date that we're watching for him. But Oregon's wide receiver board is really small right now, Josh. You got Messiah Hampton out of New York, who hopped in the fold earlier on this month. But aside from him, you have Jaylen Lot and then Calvin Russell. And I think if I'm Oregon, I feel a lot better about holding on to a commitment from Texas than I do from Florida, given the staff's recruiting history and the program's ties to the Lone Star State. So this is going to be a really fun one to watch. We'll see if maybe track comes into play for a lot at Oregon, whether he's sprinting or jumping. I think that's something to monitor. That's a guy that Oregon definitely wants. So we'll have to see if they can move the needle this weekend.
Yeah. Now, last question I got for you was there's an intriguing name on campus. 4-star Cali quarterback Bryson Beaver. I saw him come in for a visit, and I just want to know, what does this mean for Rider Lions? Because we know the talk of him and BYU has been heating up, and he's coming off the board next week. So Is the visit of Bryson Beaver indicative of where Oregon feels they stand with Rider Lions?
I don't think it's indicative at all, Josh. I know that this is a question that comes up quite a bit, seeing that they're in the same class, but you have the mission trip with Ryder Lyons, so he's a de facto 2027. I know and have repeated on the on Scoop Duck with my reporting that Oregon wants a legitimate 2026 class quarterback, someone who's going to graduate and then join the team, more than likely in the winter as an early enrollee. That's not Ryder Lyons, but that could be Bryson Beaver or Matt Ponatoski, two quarterbacks that I saw this week out in Los Angeles at the Elite 11 finals. So I don't think that this visit is indicative of where Oregon thinks they stand with Ryder Lions. But of course, there's plenty of chatter there with BYU now that he's coming off the board in a couple of days. But I think Oregon really likes their chances with Beaver, as do I. That was definitely an offer that caught his attention, and I think that you love getting him on campus this soon after the visit. I'm fully expecting that he's going to be blown away by that visit. And I know that Will Stein has done a really good job with quarterbacks since he's been in Oregon. And Beaver has told me in my interviews with him that he loves what Oregon does at the quarterback position, developing guys at that spot. So I think that's one that could move pretty quickly here, Josh. But I think we'll have to continue to see what happens at the quarterback spot, specifically with Beaver, since you saw a guy like Bo Bentley come off the board over the weekend to Oklahoma. I think that there's been a little bit of chatter about LSU maybe being a school to watch with Bryson Beaver, but Oregon got him on campus, and that's super important. So I think that they're in a great spot there.
All right. We will be watching. We're going to see. I'm going to be on Scoop Duck the rest of the day. I want to know any more quacks coming. We'll just have to wait and see, because it seems like it's been a busy weekend up in Eugene, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one that people have had circled on their calendar the whole month. You only get 3 of these official visit weekends. At least that's what Oregon did. I know that Justin was talking about that with Texas earlier. So you have some momentum going for the Ducks right now with Jet Washington hopping in the fold earlier this week, I should say. And I know this staff definitely wants to continue building that. And this was a huge weekend. You had some commits on campus as well. Kayvon Thibodeau, former first-round pick, he was in Eugene this weekend now that he's with the Giants. So I'm sure that definitely didn't hurt their chances with some of these top prospects on campus.
All right. Max Torres with Scoop Duck. Thanks for stopping by on a massive visit weekend. A lot of news coming out, and I'll be on Scoop Duck the rest of the day checking it out. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, Josh.